Welcome to Saturday's edition of our Mystic Road Trip, and today, as always, we're going to be talking about deconditioning, another aspect of your birth chart. My name is Kim. I am a spiritual wellness coach and Jungian mystic who likes to use tarot and astrology and mindfulness to help women find their way back to their authentic self so they can live a truly aligned life that makes them blissfully happy. Today, we've already talked about deconditioning the sun and the moon, so you guessed it, the next thing is the third of the big three, the rising sign. This part of your chart really talks about how you show up in the world and the first impressions you leave with people. So for quick context, we've talked about this before. The sun is your core identity, the moon is your emotions, the rising is your public persona. So often the rising kind of carries with it a lot of conditioned behaviors, a lot of social expectations, and really is one of the chief places that you find the most masks, especially when it comes to kind of like hiding your authentic self. And what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about spotting the patterns, reclaiming that energy, and how you can use tarot and astrology and other mystical insight tools to help you do that. Now, what I will say, and I always want to preface this because we're going to talk about how conditioning shows up in the rising signs, but I want you guys to know sometimes a mask is necessary. So many people on social media and everything is talking about how you need to get rid of all your masks. Well, here's the truth. Yes, you need to find a way to be able to remove the mask and not wear it continually, right? But sometimes you have to have it. There are things that you shouldn't do at work. You need to acclimate to the environment you're in, yes. But the truth is, when I'm talking about getting rid of the masks and finding your authentic self, I'm not talking about shattering the masks. I'm talking about removing them when you don't need them. So if you are someone who is, says a lot of dirty jokes and is like really fun-loving, laughs really loud, and is just likes to cuss a lot, that's who you are. If you work in an office job, that may not be an appropriate person to be in that situation. Therefore, you need to take your work mask on, and that work mask allows you to be a little, maybe still funny, but a little less like you don't cuss, you don't do these things, right? Because these are things that are not acceptable in the workplace. That is okay. But if you put that mask on and then you walk around the rest of your day with that mask on, and you walk around for a week, and you walk around for a month, and you walk around for a year, that is when the problem comes in, because you're never truly allowing yourself to breathe and be your authentic self. And I just wanted to kind of add that in before we talk about how conditioning goes and how to decondition. I don't want anybody to think I'm telling you have to shatter those masks. Some of those masks, not all of them, are necessary for us to function in polite society. And true, if you find the right job and you find the right environment and the right friends, you'll never have to put a mask on. Well, you'll have to put a mask on less, because there's always going to be times where you need to fit into something in order to suss it out, whatever you think it is. So with that note being said, let's talk about how conditioning shows up in the rising sign. The rising sign is how other people see you and how you act socially. So conditioning can really mess with that a lot, especially because it is a social persona. So for instance, Libra risings, they may overplease to be light. Capricorn risings might project control or responsibility to appear proper, even if it's draining them. So there's much like everything. When we're talking about deconditioning, the first thing you have to do is you have to notice these behaviors. You have to notice which one is expectation and which one is authentic expression. Now, as always, I'm going to use myself as a guinea pig. We're going to talk about me, and I'm going to talk about how I would decondition my rising sign. If you have any questions about yours, you can definitely send me a comment, reach out to me for a chart. I am starting to create lists for clients once I launch my coaching. So if you're interested in that, please also let me know. Okay, so let's talk about me. All right, Western astrology, right? Because I use the three keys method: Western, Vedic, and Draconic. So my Western rising is Cancer. This is habitual social behaviors. As a Cancer rising, I might tend to nurture or protect or be cautious. I'm probably going to prioritize other people's comfort over my own. And that is true. I still sometimes do this. It's a work in progress. Guys, I want you guys to know that I am a spiritual wellness coach and I want to help you. I'm going on the same journey as you. We can go on the journey together. I may be further along in the journey, but I'm willing to stick my hand back. And like, that's what I want to do. I want to help everybody get further along on their path. Okay. So when I'm deconditioning my rising sign, I need to be vulnerable. I need to be more open. I need to experiment with where as far as I'm comfortable with that. Right? I need to be okay being myself even if I feel uncomfortable. This is how I'm going to challenge those conditions that I talked about. The putting other people's needs before me, I feel like I need to be nurturing and cautious and all those things. Like these are the ways I'm going to decondition. Also, with this situation, putting up clear boundaries when it comes to what I'm willing to give to others and what I need to save for myself, because that's super important too. If we look at Vedic astrology, right, this is karmic influences. This is like inherited and conditioned tendencies, particularly in the social life. So for me, I'm a Gemini rising. I tend to adapt to my area a little too easily, and then I overthink a lot of my interactions, and I have a people-pleasing problem. And so I scatter my energies trying to please everybody, and most of the time, forgetting myself. So in order for me to decondition that sign, I had to notice those habits. I had to look at the way my mom interacted with people, when my dad interacted with people. I had to look and see what inherited habits I got. And then I had to choose responses consciously that aligned more with what I felt and not what I had seen. I needed to have more clarity in what I wanted and who I let into my life, and I needed to have confidence in myself and confidence in being who I am. Adaptation to my environment is not a bad thing. It's a tool I had. It made me a chameleon. It made me very flexible. I was a military brat, so I moved around a lot. So I had to be adaptable pretty easily. The problem is that stuck with me into adulthood. And so sometimes I would adapt to areas very easily and lose sight of who I am. So let's move to Draconic. That is your soul's persona, true outer expression. Here, I'm a Capricorn rising. So discipline, grounded, intentional, everything, right? If I need to embody that, I need to embody a soul-led persona on a daily basis. I need to express my authority and competence. I need to stay authentic while honoring the warmth and truth that I have. And the truth is, if I can integrate all three of these layers, you'll see habitual behaviors, conditioned patterns, true persona. And this is going to help you provide a huge roadmap to how you figure out how to express yourself outwardly to everyone. Now, once again, practical steps for deconditioning your rising. Observe social habits, really look at how you act when you're in a group and notice which ones are performative and which behaviors are forced, right? Because those things have to go away. You have to not feel like you have to perform for people. You should just be able to be yourself. Of course, there are times where you have to kind of once again, call it in and match the energies of the people around you. If you're at a funeral and you're not a sad person and you go there and you laugh and that's inappropriate. So that in that moment you need to calm down. Also, experimenting with new behaviors, great way to decondition. Move out of everything. If you're someone who's introvert, maybe show a little bit more warmth, more playfulness. If it doesn't feel right, cool, you can pull back, but you got to experiment. Using the tools you have, right? Astrology and tarot, great idea. I think one of the things I didn't mention before was noticing feedback loops. That's look at how people respond to you when you truly do act authentically. Watch and see what you get. because I think you might be surprised. At least this is how I put it. You would be surprised if you find the people that truly are in alignment with you. It won't be a problem for you to be authentic. And then I think you also need to reflect and integrate. So the goal is not to fix it. The goal is to take external expectation and make your authentic expression more important than that. Okay? So once again, and then once you get that, you can start integrating. You might find once you start integration and reflecting really like this, that interactions feel way more easy and way less draining. I don't know about you, but if you're anything like me, I go to one group thing and I'm so exhausted. Like, partially because it's a lot of people and I'm kind of an introvert, but also because, like, it's just a lot. You're going to see your confidence is going to grow. You're going to see your inner thoughts and your outer thoughts are all going to come into alignment, and it's going to strengthen you. Using the tools, like I said, over time, you're going to find like social energy kind of aligns with your inner self, and being authentic is going to be more visible and more effortless. You're not going to have to try so hard. Deconditioning your rising sign is really just you aligning your outer presence with your inner presence. With everything when it comes to conditioning, you need to remember to start small. You need to stay conscious, and you need to notice the shifts, and you need to treat yourself with compassion and love. Yeah, that's it. Your authentic rising is waiting for you. So all you have to do is step into it and really just let your true self shine to the world. And as always, guys, I know you can do this. I really believe in you. And that's it for today. If you want to reach out to me, you can follow me on social media on TikTok and Instagram. I said I do tarot and astrology, so if you reach out there and message me. Also, if you're interested in coaching, please let me know, because I'm starting to create a list for when I launch my actual coaching program. That's it for today, guys. Stay blessed.